Next car I pull on might be a Chevy and shit. Extra pasta, that's spaghetti and shit. Coming through an automatic. Hi YouTube, it's not Elise. Welcome back to my channel. As you can tell from the title of this video, it's going to be a story time. This is like a really interesting story time. Like, I still can't believe it to this day, but I'm glad it went down the way it did. You'll see as I get into the story. Okay, so this story actually took place when I was probably about 11 or 12 years old, but I did send some nudes to my mother. So I'm gonna get into how that happened. First off, I'm 17 years old now. I've come a very long way, but if you guys have never seen me, like if you don't know me in person, because a couple of my subscribers are friends, hi you guys, but if you've never seen me before, like haven't looked on my social media or anything, you wouldn't know how I look. So I'm gonna stand up and show you guys. Okay, that's my buttocks, but I have no bosoms, and I've been like that for a very long time. So in this story time, when I was little, I used to have like these little kitty bras. Like, they were padded bras, and these are like my first padded bras that like I ever owned. So I actually want to show you guys an example, but I don't have any. But we're just gonna say my cup size was about a like 32A. Like, they were tiny, and I used to be self-conscious because back then I was like in middle school, and you know, girls were starting to develop, and I'm like, where are mine? And like, they never came. Still haven't came, but I've gained some growth, which is good. But I'm just like, where am I? Oh my gosh, everybody's getting boobs except me. So I decide I'm gonna take pictures to mark my growth. So I put on my little bra. It was black. It was a black bra. Like I said, it was a padded bra. The cups were probably like that big each, literally. Like, it was like the tiniest little bra. And it had thin little straps. And me and my mom stayed with my grandma. So I went in her dresser, and I went and I got a pair of her underwear. And I'm like, yes, honey. And it was a thong. It was an all-lace thong. Mind you, I'm 12 years old, okay? So I put on the black bra and I put on the thong, and I'm like, ooh, they match. So my grandma has a mirror in her hallway. And I go in the mirror and I start looking at myself. Nobody's home at the time, mind you. So I go in the mirror and I'm looking at myself, and I'm just like, hey, I got some butt. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, where are my boobs? And I'm like, my butt can make up for it. So I get in the mirror and I start taking pictures, and I'm just like, yes, honey. So I call my best friend. I'm like, girl, guess what I just did? And she's like, what? And I'm like, I took pictures in a thong. And I'm so hyped. But I mean, I'm 12 years old, not really talking to guys like that. Like, I'm texting them, but it's like dry 12-year-old text. Like, I wasn't that type of child, like, to be sending nudes to no dudes. So my best friend is my best friend. I'm like, okay, girl. But at the time, the type of phone I had, I couldn't send messages while I was on the phone. So I was like, I'm gonna call you back. Or I was like, no, better yet, you call me back as soon as the pictures come through. And she was like, okay. So I'm really just sitting here like, hey, about to send my best friend some nudes, you know, in the mirror, posing all cute. So here I am, I'm all hype. I'm like, yes, girl, about to send my best friend these pictures so she can tell me how I look. Cause like, that's my best friend. I'm not about to send it to no dudes. I'm like, you know what? If I can trust anybody, it's her. So I go to send the message, and I pick out the pictures that I want to send. It was like 3 of them. And then I type MA send, and I'm like, oh, like, what did you just do? Because I call my mom, and I'm like, what in the world? Like, what in my mind was like, I'm that person, I gotta send these pictures right now, to where I send them to my mother. Like, my mother. This is like no joke, y'all. So I don't even try to call my best friend back, because of course she ain't get no pictures. My mama got them. So I'm like, oh my gosh, she gonna kill me. Like, she's gonna beat me. She's gonna take my phone. I'm just fearing the worst. So at the time, she was at work, and she had a work phone, which had an extension, and she had her cell phone. I tried to call her cell phone first, like 3 times. I'm like, she does not answer. So I call the work phone, and I'm like, okay. So I call the work phone. First time I call, doesn't go through, or she doesn't answer. Second time I call, hello. I'm like, Mom, I sent some pictures to your phone. And I was like, I don't want you to get mad. I was like, I wanted to talk to you before you saw them. I don't want you to be mad. And she was like, Naya, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, they probably came to your phone anyways. So I'm on the phone with her, like, scared out of my mind. And then she says back to me, I'm looking at them right now. What is this foolishness? And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So then I explained to her, like, my whole reasoning behind the pictures. Like I told you guys in the beginning of the video, like, I was really self-conscious about the comparison to the top and the bottom. So I'm like, I'm just gonna take these pictures and see what's going on with me. So I told her that. I was just like, it's just a confidence booster, because it just allows me to see like how my body actually looks, and like not so much dwell on my boobs, because I do have a like decent sized butt, which at 12 this wasn't the right thing for me to be thinking about, honestly, because I had all these years to mature. Still ain't happened for me, but at middle school level I was just like, everybody has it but me, what's wrong? So like that's how I was feeling, and I was honest with my mom. So she actually was glad, like, not that I sent her the pictures of course, but she was glad I told her. And she was like, okay Naya, well, I'm glad they came to me instead of the wrong person. You just have to be careful and all that type of thing. But she was like, I'm glad you got in touch with me before I seen them pictures, because if I would have saw the pictures before I talked to you, you would have been in trouble. And I was like, okay mom, I'm sorry, I'll see you when you get home, blah blah blah. So the day goes by. I call my best friend as soon as I get a phone with my mom, and I'm like, girl, guess what I just did? And she's like, what? I'm like, those pictures that I was supposed to send you, I sent them to my mom. And she was like, no. And I was like, girl, yes. But I was like, but she wasn't mad though, I didn't get in trouble. So I get off the phone with my best friend, go about my day, just being a typical 12-year-old. Then she comes home from work. Let me tell you, when my mama gets home from work, she's like, you know what? All that stuff I told you on the phone at work, I take that back. She was like, you ain't had no business taking them pictures. And she was like, you talking about you was just taking them for you. She was like, well, they got to me, so that means you was trying to send them to somebody. Who you was sending them to? And I was like, Mom, I was just trying to send them to my best friend. And she was like, what she need to see you for? Because my best friend at the time, her name was Jessica. She was like, Jessica don't need to see you. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, it's funny now, but I was just like, Mom, sorry. And then she was like, you know what, I'm taking your phone. So she took my phone, I think for like a week or two, and then that was really the end of it. But I was just like, the switch up was too real. At work you tell me, okay, I understand, but like, you're gonna grow. Like, she told me, she encouraged me, she's like, you're gonna grow and mature, so now's not the time to be worried about that and all that type of stuff. And she was like, but as long as you're not sending them to anybody or whatever, then I'm not mad at you and that type of thing. Then she come home and just pew, and I'm like, hurt. Hashtag hella hurts. Like, she switched up so quick. But that is the story of the time I sent news to my mother. Like, thought I was off the hook, and then she comes home and she blows up on me. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this story time. If you did, please leave comments. If you have a similar story, please comment, tell me about it. But if you guys like this then and want to see more story times, then please like this video and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.